So today we're looking at some of the best cases available for the Pixel 7 Pro. I'll leave a link in the description below with current pricing and more information on everything covered in this video. So let's go ahead and get started. The Caseology Parallax case comes in 4 different colors: sage green, matte black, burgundy, and the one shown here is ash gray. It's a pretty flexible TPU case. It's got a couple different textures here on the back. Definitely helps give it a little more grip. Same thing on the side here. There's a little bit of texture towards the bottom. It really just gives you something extra to hold on to. Power and volume buttons stick out plenty so you can find where they're located without looking at the case. They're super easy to use on this case. Really nice and clicky as well. Plenty of protection there around the cameras on the back. Nice looking design overall as well. Feels like it's just enough protection there on the sides where it's curved. I feel like it could be just a tad more. Overall, not too bad though. Nice oversized cutout for the charging port. The phone itself weighs 210 grams, 256 grams with the case on. And of course it's going to work with wireless charging as well. Overall, just a nice job by Caseology. Pretty good grip on this one, and just gives the phone a little extra grip, a little extra protection. Now this case by Humix is available in 2 colors, green and black. As you can see, sort of see-through there on the back, kind of a frosted look to it. This one's super rigid though, with a hard plastic shell on the back. Softer TPU material around the edges. Nice and clean design there on the back. And I like how they rounded the opening for the cameras. Definitely matches the style of this phone. And it's got some nice texture there on the power button. Really nice and clicky or tactile on the power and volume buttons as well. Good screen protection on the top and bottom. This one does have a little bit less than I would like to see there on the sides. I assume they made it that way so it's easier to use the phone. Kind of wish they would make it a little bit more protection there on the edges, but I know it can be tricky with a curved display like this. Nice and large oversized cutout there for the charging port. Pretty lightweight though, only 248 grams with the case on, so a little bit lighter than the Parallax case by Caseology. It's got a very smooth texture on the sides and the back, but still has decent grip on here. Doesn't feel like it would be too slippery. And then of course it's going to work with wireless charging. Now if you're wanting something that's not going to cover up the back of your phone, this one's a pretty good option here by Rinky. Sort of a matte finish there on the back. Nice and super rigid there material there on the back. Then a softer, clear TPU around the edges. Pretty nice grip on there as well. The lip on the side goes just above the curved angle. Good screen protection on the top and bottom. Really close on the sides. Almost the same, maybe just a hair above the screen. The power button's got little ridges on it, which is really nice. Makes it super easy to use on here. Power and volume buttons, definitely going to be one of the clickiest as far as buttons go. Doesn't seem to get too many fingerprints on here either. Really nice design they've got going around the cameras. Oversized cutout there for the charging port. One thing you'll want to keep in mind with this kind of case, you'll want to clean the back of the phone really good on this one. Otherwise, you're going to see every little piece of dust or lint. Weighs in at 850 grams with the case on. And of course, it's going to work with wireless charging as well. The CYRILL stone case is available in 2 colors, Kale, and the one shown here is Dusk, kind of a dark gray color. It's a nice flexible TPU material, and then some shiny accents there on the side. Pretty simple to put in the case as well. The power and volume buttons are really nice on this one. Kind of hard to see, but it's got some nice texture there. Super easy to use, nice and clicky. You can see it's got a nice lip there on the top and bottom. Decent on the sides. Could be a little bit better like most cases, but I understand it's a rounded display. Kind of a fine line there between how high they can go up. Nice oversized cutout for the charging port, and even though this one's nice and rounded on the top and bottom, it's a little more boxy there on the sides. and nice grip along where it's shiny. Pretty minimal branding on this one as well. Only weighs in at 246 grams with the case on, so fairly lightweight. And because it's a pretty lightweight case, obviously it's going to work with wireless charging. Overall, pretty nice job by CYRILL. I kind of wish they had the colored buttons there on the side, like they do with their Color Brick series, but still pretty nice quality here with this case. This one's called the Athlex by Caseology. Comes in 3 different colors: active green, active black, and the one shown here is active orange. This one's got a really cool design to it. The grip on here is probably one of the best out there, almost like sandpaper, and I really like how they do the accent colors on here as well. It is a little bit more rugged than just your standard TPU case, and it's really nice and rigid, barely flexes at all. You can see the really nice design there on the back around the cameras. Looks sort of like a card slot there in the middle. Not actually functional though, that's just for looks. Power and volume buttons stick out plenty on the sides, so they're easy to locate. Very minimal branding on here as well. Just enough screen protection there on the sides, with extra protection on the top and bottom, so you can put this face down without scratching up the screen. The power and volume buttons also have that kind of rough texture on them. Really nice and clicky on here too. Weighs in at 266 grams with the case on. I feel like the only thing that needs improved on this case to make it a little bit better is just to make it lighter. And yeah, it does make the phone feel just a little bit heavier than some of the others I'm testing, but I'm really liking the design on this. Also has a nice large oversized cutout there for the charging port, and even though the case is a little bit thicker, still works with wireless charging. Now, if you just want something that I would consider minimal protection, this silicone or thin TPU case by Folu, probably going to be one of the most affordable cases you can get. Comes in 4 different colors: purple, green, black, and the one shown here is blue. This one's super lightweight, nice and flexible, felt material there on the inside. One of the easiest cases to put on, and it's got just enough screen protection there on the sides, a little bit extra on top and bottom. Nice how they separate the volume buttons, and they stick out plenty so they're easy to locate. And the buttons have just enough clickiness to them to make them really simple to use. Nice protection for the cameras. Really nice, clean and simple design on the back. 0 branding on this one. Nice and curved edges with an oversized cutout for the charging port. And it's got good grip on here as well, sort of a matte finish to it. Only weighs in at 240 grams with the case on, probably the lightest case that I've tested. So of course this one's going to work with wireless charging as well. Again, surprisingly good quality for such a cheap case. Now, if you've watched my videos before, you know one of my favorite cases is by SPIGEN. This is the thin fit case, and you'll notice they've got an extra color option this year. It comes in black, or the one shown here is metal slate. The reason this is one of my favorite cases, it's super lightweight, but still really nice and rigid, and then a softer TPU material around the edges, plus it almost looks like a grayish blue color there around the edges. I kind of like having that instead of just always having to choose black. Another good thing about this case, you can actually see the edge come up above the screen on the sides, giving you just a little bit extra protection, and then extra at the top and bottom. It's got a nice texture on the power and volume buttons. They also stick out plenty, so they're easy to locate. And these are what I would consider some of the best buttons as far as clickiness, ease of use. Oversized cutout for the charging port, and I like the grip that you get on the back and the sides of this case. It's really just a nice and simple case, nothing really flashy about it. Weighs in at 240 grams with the case on, so definitely one of the lightest cases that I've tested, and of course works great with wireless charging. So far, this is still probably one of my favorite cases, mainly because of functionality. There are a couple other cases in this video that I like this style better, but functionality wise, this one's probably going to be my favorite. The Nano Pop by Caseology, probably one of my favorites as far as style goes. Comes in 3 different colors: black sesame, avo green, and the one shown here is blueberry navy. This one's nice and rigid, barely flexes at all. This one's sort of in between the Athlex by Caseology and the SPIGEN Thin Fit case, as far as how thick it is, how much it weighs, that sort of thing. It's got a softer TPU material around the edges, and it's got nice little grippy dots here along the edge. Really simple to put this case on. You can see it's got just enough protection there along the sides, and then a little bit more on top and bottom, so you can put this one face down without getting it all scratched up. Power and volume buttons stick out really nice on this one. Nice and clicky, super easy to use, and they stick out plenty so you can locate them without looking at the phone. Probably my favorite part is the accent color going around the cameras. You can sort of see how thick the case is back there. Nice and rounded around the edges, oversized cutout for the charging port. It's got a nice and simple, clean design to it. Very minimal branding on here. Weighs in at 258 grams with the case on, so sort of right in the middle or a medium weight to it. And of course, it's going to work with wireless charging as well. The Dual Shield by TUDIA comes in 6 different color combinations: metallic slate, hunter green, indigo blue, matte black, rose gold, and smoky pink. Kind of like this one that's just all black. It has a little bit more simple design to it. This one's super rigid. It's a hybrid case, so you've got a hard plastic shell that snaps on to a softer TPU material. Even though it is 2 pieces, it's definitely easier to put on the phone when the 2 pieces are together. I like how the buttons stick out on this one. Pretty simple to use. They've got some clickiness to them, so that's good as well. And then it's almost like a soft touch material there on the back. And then they add these little ridges on the sides. Definitely helps give it a little bit better grip when you're holding it. Nice rounded cutout there for the cameras on the back. You've got an oversized cutout for the charging port. And this one might be the first case I've seen where it has a cutout there on the top for the antenna. So I'm guessing you're gonna get a little better signal with this case on compared to some others out there. Weighs in at 262 grams with the case on. So yeah, this case is gonna weigh a little bit more than some of the others I've tested, mainly because you've got 2 pieces that are put together. This is also one of the few cases I've seen where it actually has side protection that goes above the screen. Good thing is, looks like this one works with wireless charging as well. Now this case is another hybrid case by HUALELE. Comes in 5 different colors: purple, clear, classic blue, black, and the one shown here is matcha green. I actually thought this was a Crave case when I first saw it. It's got 2 different parts to it: a softer TPU material on the inside, harder plastic shell there on the outside, and it's got some nice texture to it also. Fits the phone really nice and snug. Pretty simple design there on the back around the cameras. You've got a shiny power and volume buttons there on the side. I don't know if that's really my favorite style, but they're probably some of the easiest buttons I've ever used and have some of the best clickiness to them. Nice protection there on the sides of the phone, even better than some of the more popular brands out there. So you'll be able to put this one face down without scratching the phone. This is also only the 2nd case that I've seen where it has a cutout for the antenna there at the top. Nice cutouts on the bottom for the speakers, oversized cutout for the charging port. Overall, it has pretty good grip on the sides and on the back. Weighs in at 260 grams with the case on. And you've got 0 branding on this one. Considering I've never heard of this case brand before, surprisingly good quality here. And even though it's a thicker case, still gonna work with wireless charging. So if you've made it this far into the video, you may want to say thanks by subscribing, and don't forget to give a thumbs up if this video was helpful. This is Brian from Fishbee Productions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.